So tell us about the first half of your run.
I have to remember everything. I started out pretty rough. I was sick at the race start and just caught a chest cold. And then I'd lost a night of sleep before. And so my run to Braeburn was not very pleasant. And I took a little extra time in Braeburn, and I was started to catch up, started feeling better. And as time progressed, I actually felt better. And took a little extra time in breaks. So I didn't keep to the schedule, but there's a long ways to go, so there was a reason, so I'm glad I did. Dogs were looking great. I've dropped 3. I heard one dog just coming in that road, just coming down. I think if there's any soreness, they kind of, it's hard on their front end coming down the road. But what other eventful things? It's all kind of blurred in.
Yeah. Did you find it an advantage? You'd done the 300 2 years ago, so you'd seen the first 300 miles of the trail or so. Did you find that was an advantage?
Yeah, because whenever you see something a second time, it's or I should say, when you see it the first time, it seems much longer, and you sort of not familiar with things. But you're like, oh yeah, there's this, and oh yeah, then come to this. And this time I got to stay at Stepping Stone. The 300 I went through there, and I thought it was like, oh, I got to do this again, just to stay there. So I stayed there and increased my stay there so I could get about an hour and a half of sleep.
That's great.
And that was nice. Those folks were really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the new stretch for you so far has been the 200 miles from Pelly to Dawson.
Yeah, that's quite a stretch.
How did you find that?
That's hard. That was hard, just because you have so much weight in the sled, and there's so many hills. And that first stretch out of Stepping Stone needs a name. There's a summit that you get up to. That thing needs a name. That was a good climb. And I kept looking at my notes. It's like, no, that's not American Summit. I don't know what that was, but that was a bugger. And I went through during the middle of the day, and dogs hate running in the middle of the day, and it was warm. So that was trying. And I always think, God, I'm going too slow, or the dogs aren't motivated, or blah, blah, blah. Then I look at times, and my times are just the same as everybody else's. And then once we got up there, it was much easier. There were much reasonable hills.
Yeah. Did you find that 200 miles intimidating as a rookie? Solitude of 200 miles?
No.
Was it fairly easygoing? And
solitude-wise, there was no problem. It's very enjoyable. I mean, man, you set up camp and you sit still, and the quietness is deafening, so to speak. You just hear your own hum. So that was pretty cool. The dogs rest well, and it's really peaceful out there. The weather's really nice, so I enjoyed it. Actually, I enjoyed the solitude.
And how did it feel finally coming into Dawson?
That was good. I was kind of cranky because I kind of got hurt. So I was not planning on having my good little dogs hurt. So I was just really bummed about that. But it was nice. Once I got over King Solomon, I knew I'd make it, but you get on top of King Solomon Dome, and then I've heard it was 25 miles downhill. So I thought, okay, we're good to go. And the dogs they're doing well, they're just a little tired. And I think they're young dogs, and they haven't raced this year much at all. So this first half is just kind of getting into race mode and race shape, and getting used to having a 6-hour break, which isn't a short break, but getting up and go, another 6 hour, getting up and go. It's a lot to have.
Yeah. And maybe you haven't had time to think about it too much, but what have you learned in the first half of the race that you might apply for the rest of it?
Just the usual patience, I suppose. Just be patient. If you feel like you're going slow on hills, it's okay. You're supposed to go slow on hills. And I have so much faith in this team. It's just hanging, just keeping it together. And I really try to take good dog care so I don't have to drop anybody else. I have a couple dogs with loose shoulders, but they're good enough. They're in there. Trying to trim my packings as much as possible. Do I really need this? Because when you carry, it won't be as bad now. It's 150 miles and it's not on hills, but still, you try to be efficient and kind of refining my feeding, because they're not eating that well. They just started to eat and scruggy. So I'm refining that.
Well, good luck on the second half of the race and get some good rest in Dawson.
Yeah, food and rest.
Food and rest.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.